Okay, I should be live now. Let's check and make sure on my other screen. I just wanted to go live here and talk for a few minutes about myself and what's going on today, which is basically nothing. Uh, I'm presently looking for a job and putting in applications at all sorts of things because that's just what you have to do. Um, I could be working on any number of things, which is really frustrating. Uh, for me, once I get an opportunity and I see a team where there's actual payoff and something clear for me to do, I can target that position and then run away with it. But until you know what that is, it's really difficult to work on a skill set which is going to be like universally recognized as desirable. So streaming, I suppose, is a way of demonstrating your personality and your person, and that probably counts for more than anything else. Ultimately, I watch a lot of entertainers and I listen to interviews and things like that. Um, it's the makes me think of waited too long. I'm behind on my garden. Yeah, I'm behind on mine too. I wanted to start when I was a kid, but nah. Unfortunately, I did not and lost, but at least I still have the want to garden and do all of that kind of stuff. Not doing that great. Me either, John. Look at me here. Just monologuing into the camera with nothing particular to say. Just kick around the subject because the truth is, not having a job, it's not great. It's pretty bad. It's pretty awful. You want a job, you learn enough about the world, you want, if not employment, like a business or some sort of narrative which makes sense. Like I was watching Twitch the other day. I haven't really been a huge user of Twitch uh recently, as in like over the last year, but then now I'm starting to get on there more. And over the years I haven't really like kept a steady Twitch account. I wasn't really a huge streamer, and I watched a few people, maybe for a couple weeks or so, and then I'll like stop and then go back occasionally. So I don't know. It's interesting, but I was considering, the nature of these people who are streaming in the middle of the day. Um, like for instance, right now, I'm pretty sure there's somebody who is playing Yu-Gi-Oh that's streaming, and he's a pretty popular, successful person on YouTube for his genre and his niche. So for him, it's very doable to just be playing some random card game in the middle of the day. It doesn't make a difference one way or the other to his bottom line and his financials, because he's just set up like that. He makes his money from posting videos about the game. So if he goes live, it's like he's working and he's generating income from doing that, which is really just him being alive and following his interests as he sees fit, as he feels it in the moment, right? Which is freedom, as I would term it, right? In a lot of senses, is just making money from being alive and doing what you would do otherwise. Although that can never truly be the case, because the act of getting money and recognition for whatever you're doing probably influences your behavior, as in, like, how much of his love for the game can now be said to be for the game itself, since it's uh about this like YouTube presence and the money that you're getting from it and the attention you're getting from it. Um, Complicated subjects, and I don't know how I feel about learning all this uh, ever changing metagaming type stuff. You have to learn every mechanic in a game, and then if they change it, you have to relearn it again. So examples would be Hearthstone's Battlegrounds. League of Legends has that auto battler. What is it called again? Teamfight Tactics. Teamfight Tactics. Very interesting game, but it has a very high skill cap in that you have to look at your opponent's boards, know like how many champions appear and what their rates are, plan against their picks, and you have to like know the best items to put on which characters and when you can make certain combos of different like bands. You get bonuses for having like 1 to 6 thing, like you max out at like 7 to 9 in extraordinary circumstances characters on the board at once, and then they fight other people's characters as if it was in a real game of League of Legends, but it's not. It's just an auto battler. So that's the TLDR. And yeah, the problem is every season they give the characters different skins and they switch out characters and put in new ones and change their abilities and their statting, and they change the items and they like introduce all these random stuff. And so like the top of the line players will usually end up finding there's a loud vehicle outside, but I have audio suppression on for it, so it shouldn't be coming over, but it's throwing me off. Um, but yeah, the top of the line players, they are, and I might be holding it a bit too close to. Sometimes you get, I don't speak up enough, and I have it too far away from my face, or I bring it too close, and then I'm like too enunciating. And I don't really have any feedback on that other than mine. So that is the crux of the situation. But yes, why would you want to learn these champions over and over again, these different seasons, uh, like indefinitely? You get tired eventually. Like you're putting in the effort of learning something, and then you get the reward of exercising that learned knowledge, and then they remove the benefit of that learned knowledge, which is basically destroying your investment in learning that thing. You understand what I'm saying here? From it's a hobby, so it's extra space that extra time. You're not letting it run away with your life unless you're getting some huge reward from it and you're a professional or something like that. But yeah, games industries, it's yeah, it's easy to let games take too much of your time and too much of your life. I played way too much WoW this month. I'll be the first to admit it. Although I have botted in the way distant past, I'm not a botter and I don't bot, although I probably should have. Like with WoW Classic, it was the perfect time to bot if you had never botted before. And it's a hobby which can generate revenue for you. It can generate income. It can pay for itself. Like back in the day with MMO Glider, who got taken to court by Blizzard, uh, there were people that were posting themselves like buying new computers and monitors and all this other stuff that they bought with their proceeds from botting, and it was all legitimate. So, at the very least, like a computer that pays for itself from botting in a way is like a precursor to mining. So it almost like predates mining itself. There are a lot of passive money generation ideas like that. Like people have been writing spam scripts in like the 90s and 2000s and stuff. Like a random dedicated person can come up with some hacky spammy way to like leverage advantage. Once every blue moon there will be something that happens, every couple years. And for some people it's like once in a lifetime. You just have this opportunity that occurs. So I was not really like at the right position in life to take full advantage of that, and that's unfortunate. So I didn't make a huge killing off of like botting this whole time. I could have had that career through school. Like I don't know, but at the top end you have to be realistic about how many people there are actually buying like WoW accounts and gold, and the nature of the market is one where they probably corner it. And I would suspect a lot of Blizzard insiders or shareholders or something play both sides of the coin, and they like they invest in the company and then like sell everybody they can like golden accounts and then don't do it like, and they have literally no association with World of Warcraft. Like they don't know what any of it does. It's just like a pure money in, money out. Anyways, it's just a hobby for me now. I would maybe bot for fun, but I don't know. I have this idea of setting up just like a private server and then you create 40 characters alliance, 40 characters horde. You put it up on like one machine and then you instance it all and you just like let it run and it just like does like every raid and you can like set them up in like PvP and then you could have like, I mean technically I suppose you could like put it on like 40 different computers, right? And then like everybody could just like log into a random character. You could like make WoW kind of more like a MOBA or something like that. You just like spawn into Alterac Valley at an event with a fully geared character. But the problem is you have to like learn all your keybinds. It's like one of those type of games. So it'll never really work out like that, right? Like with League of Legends, that's what's really brilliant about it, and all these other MOBAs. I guess Dota would be the one that truly came up with the idea. But anywhere you go, any keyboard you use, you're gonna keep your key bindings the same. The bar placement's gonna be the same. With an MMO, everything is based on where you put it, and you have to memorize that. So it's unique to the individual, and like way too complicated for easy jump in, jump out kind of playing. Like anytime you resubscribe to World of Warcraft, you have to redo your bars, and that can take you hours, especially if you have a lot of characters and stuff like this. Some of it is server side, some of it is like your computer side. Another interesting fact, Oid. That's nothing. Yeah. So I have really nothing else to talk about. I was just going to look at YouTube. I am bored. I am capable of doing like anything. Like I would go on a huge trip right now wherever. I would join up on just about any job that pays well enough and seems to be a good fit. But for the most part, it seems like people uh yeah, words have power. It seems like people hire for positions that they know when people draft job hiring, recruitment advertisements, job listings, they put in stuff which they know is likely not going to be available on the market, or they're looking for literally one or two people. They would hire somebody if they found the perfect person that plays this one particular role, but they're not actually looking to like just hire anybody to fill the position, right? It's one of those things where it's like, oh yes, if we had somebody who is like an industry insider, like some of these positions such as HR or something else, if they had somebody that would legitimize their company more. That's why people prefer experience. They like to be able to say they have somebody who like worked for like 10 years somewhere else doing something that was extraordinary, and they have like tons of money already. They're already like set in life. People don't like taking any sort of gamble on, well, what is this person actually like? Does this person have good social reputation? Is this person as smart as the rest of us at the company or on the team or whatever else? Is it going to be, are they going to, some people end up doing the majority of the work pretty much everywhere you go. And as a newcomer to any sort of environment, it's pretty impossible to outperform the existing staff in a lot of industries, right? Like there's just job knowledge that comes with being on the job for a period of time. Your like social connection to everybody involved in like the group is not as entrenched. Um So yeah, somebody like me, I just sit around on the internet. I'm on YouTube. I'm looking around at different stuff. Um, I don't have a huge in real life group. I worked remotely for a period of time. Um, yeah, I think that's very funny, and I don't really know about that. It sounds like correlation, causation, but just like an indicator. It correlates. It's like, I guess it's believable. Probably because a lot of them are doing that. Because you need the best answer to why did you leave your last job? Because you need more money. Because you need more money. Uh, yeah. I'm a little bit I don't know how you say melancholy about the fact that everything is so silly. Like seeing Janet Yellen here. I used to watch CNBC like all the time, and I'm talking like CNBC Asia, uh, Europe, Africa. Um, I would watch CGTN as well whenever they broadcast in the United States. And whenever Obama left office, they expelled all sorts of Russian diplomats from the United States. They also had CGTN leave Washington D.C. They had their headquarters broadcast out of there. They just completely shut down the network, and they would air like Chinese era propaganda, but it was like really well done and kind of guised as like a cultural piece. But like like you knew it was propaganda and it was also cultural piece. It's kind of like if you watch like the History Channel in the United States and you see it's like they're talking about war. They're talking about like really objectively like stupid historical things, but then they somehow manage to like make it sound like it was like really good or something. Um the good old days of the Civil War, JK. You hear those documentaries and they speak with like uh enthusiasm and intrigue about like putting on a tourniquet or like having your arm amputated. Kind of like I don't know, old version of Disney World. Is that that's like that's one handed.
Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past. And here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future.
I first visited what would become Disneyland in 1948.
I was 7 years old and absolutely enamored with Donald Duck.
To be able to see it before most other kids, well, it felt like you won the lottery.
I just wished we'd all survived.
Yeah. uh I don't know. It just like what is even going on in the world? You need some sort of organization to how society works, but it seems like the organization is like non-existent. I don't like uh these cryptocurrency people. Like my whole cryptocurrency outlook in Bitcoin, you call it a cryptocurrency. Um me says yes. But it's all garbage. Like that the Silk Road was a huge thing and a lot of people sold a lot of different stuff. Uh, you know, that's not great. That the majority of the coins are basically deriving their value from the proceeds of criminal sales, which a lot of it you say like, okay, it's not that big a deal. It's just somebody that's like sending some weed or something silly, like, yeah, okay, but like there were also people that were doing very large like hard drugs, and like that's basically like ketamine now, like where we are uh with like people overdosing and stuff and fake drugs is kind of a consequence of this coin. People don't necessarily see it like that, but for sure, because it's just the easiest, lowest risk way for anybody to operate in that industry is like this thing. So, um, like it or not. And then you also have hackers that demand ransom in it. And most exchanges have been hacked, right? Like most major exchanges, like Mt. Gox was like the original, um, and then you have stuff like Cryptsy. Cryptsy was pretty big. People don't really think about Cryptsy because it happened during a time when the market was extremely down. It was just like people weren't paying attention to it. So the value of the amount that was stolen was on the basis of like a $300 Bitcoin. So like, right before 2017. So they stole just like an absurd amount of BTC and XRP and LTC and all these other like random coins. They just had like every coin listed. They were moving more money on Cryptsy. If you were playing back then, if you were paying attention, like what they were doing with like Black Coin and Dark Coin, aka X Coin, aka Dash or Daesh, Daesh, uh, or Douche. I'm not really hugely into those people. They had a price of about $1,000 on Dash after all of this like name changing, instant mining, pre-mine kind of deal. Instant mine as in like if you're the only miner on the network, like as in like nobody's paying attention to you and you just like release the coin, you can like claim like it was released fairly and there's like no pre-mine, but then there is because there's like a bug and like it issues coins like instantly in the first like 24 hours. Like I mined several coins like that using a GPU back then. And I investigated that, like, should I like put any money into this thing or like ignore it? And I came to the conclusion that it was highly corrupt and it might move, but like it's going to be like a scam and a Ponzi. So maybe what I would say now in retrospect is you're looking for signs of stuff like that. That's actually a sign that it's a good thing to buy because there's somebody getting a payout. Like there, you can see the incentive of somebody if they're hoarding like the fake asset to take it off the market so they can inflate the price and have less IOUs circulating that they have to make good on. That's actually a positive sign, because it's like it says that they have room to run in their scam operation. You'll be able to just dip out and take your check. Anyways, Electroneum would be another one of those ones. It's like it was supposed to. Anyways, I don't even want to talk about that random POS. It's is a mobile-based coin that was marketing itself as being like for Africa and all these other places where people only have cell phones and they don't have like fancy computers that can sync a full chain. And yeah, it was just some tripe. It's not worth like anything. You could like mine on your cell phone. It's probably a huge malware, spyware type thing. All these coins, I find it really hard to trust anything anybody says or the executables. Or, yeah, I had 4 BTC stolen from me, just straight up stolen from me. And I wish this whole time that I had had a camera and a microphone that was like quality. I really wish that I had figured that out a long time ago. It's a little bit late in the game. To be like, oh yeah, if I had like been vlogging back then, I'd just like get on my camera and be like, somebody just stole like this exchange. I want to say it was like nice hash or something like that. I had a ton of coins that I'd mined that were sitting on that got fucking stolen, and then Cripsy as well. And that was like a 1-2. And then at the same time, it's like all that happened like at once. It was at like the very bottom of the market. That's whenever they knew that they could like get away with it because people were paying less attention. And then the Ethereum hack split to Classic. Poloniex credited people Classic and then like took the Ethereum. It's all a bunch of really just not good stuff. And then you got everything that went on with Bitfinex and Tether. There are countries that, what else? Arthur Hayes with BitMEX, he was wanted by authorities and he was taken in. Twitter is where all this stuff runs rampant, and who runs it now but Elon Musk. And it always kind of felt like Jack Dorsey and other people were government first kind of indicators, or something else. I don't really know. Like they represent business interests that clearly favor this sort of thing. Coinbase will regularly not allow people to trade or buy on dips and swings. Back in 2014, I was trying to buy on Coinbase during a family vacation at an absolute like dip that was a steal. It was like $400 Bitcoin. And I'm like, yes, I want to spend all my money to buy this. And I want to do it right now. And the problem was like it just kept on refusing to go through. It would just refuse. And then whenever the price would increase by like $75, it would be like, okay, are you ready now to like buy? It's like, what's up, bro? Like, you're trying to buy now, right? Like, and it's just like, no. Which I suppose in retrospect, why trip over such marginal amounts of money? But I never really thought it would go to this extreme of a like height of price. A lot of the coins are blacklisted or out of circulation. Like tens of thousands of them have been seized by the feds from various criminal enterprises and stuff. And that's like a substantial amount. You could say maybe like 1 in 20 coins has been taken by the federal government of the United States at some point, or in some way like blacklisted or set as like non-viable. Then you have the problem of Satoshi's coins, which can just come out of nowhere and mass just exit scam. They could take the liquidity from every market, all at once. Whoever they are, he is, whatever. Suppose it could be a she. Whatever entity is acting as Satoshi Nakamoto or acted, those coins are a liability to the market. It's about absorbing from the current exchange rate. And everybody has seen it a million times with these offshoot coins. You go in and you buy one at a really high price, and then the spreadsheet on the, basic site that uses information in a really like, uses information blindly will say that it has a huge market cap because, you make 1 billion tokens, you sell one for $1, you've now made $1 billion. Wow. You're all rich. If it works on some of the people, then, good for you. But I'm, for the most part, like, I'm sick of it. I saw BitConnect as it was happening. I didn't really participate in BitConnect, but like I watch people talk about BitConnect. I listen to people about BitConnect, and I'm just like, that sounds really like cringe. I don't know that I have the time, and like I want to participate in that. It seems like a bunch of psychos. Seems like a huge something or another. Some I didn't know what it was gonna be, but by the time it had taken off, I was like kind of past the point of like joining in being worth it. And by the time it was collapsing, I was already just kind of like, yeah, I told you so, right? So with BTC and Bitcoin in general, I can understand why people like it if they make a huge killing on it, and think that cryptography is really appealing. Like the idea of how you can host your keys and do all this, very appealing. But at the same time, we need like institutional guarantees on stuff. A lot of people in the space of cryptocurrency are anti-institution, so they don't like the United States government. They don't like governments in general. A lot of them are anarchists or libertarians or something else. And okay, but have you ever considered that maybe you're the person, like it's something where you have to cyclically replace the people in charge and introduce new ideas to address the challenges of the moment. You don't appreciate government because you have a bad government, not because you don't want or need a government. It's the same energy as people who don't want police or are anti-police and want to defund the police. I used to say, ironically, preceding like around like 2016 or so, before all of the events of BLM and COVID and everything else, where sentiments have radically like transformed, that we should legalize crime. People, all this Antifa, anti-cop stuff, like before all of that, as it was kind of like becoming a thing, I used to joke, I would write like posts jokingly, like, we should legalize crime. Like, what way are you going? Everybody can agree that nobody wants to see any of these horrific crimes ever happen again. We're sick of all of these muggings, all these murders, all these break-ins, all this theft, all this corruption, right? All these crimes. Everybody hates crime. We have this huge crime problem. The crime rates, they're horrific. There's way too many of them happening. So what we have to do is we have to legalize all crime, right? So once all crime is legalized, nothing's really a crime anymore, because a crime is defined by being illegal, right? So then everything is illegal, right? And nobody will be committing any crimes. We'll have a 0% crime rate because we've legalized all crime. Simple victimless crimes like, grand larceny, such as in the instance of stealing from a Bitcoin exchange. And furthermore, I didn't even begin on the subject of Bitcoin. I never thought that anybody would reasonably say we should abolish the police. The all cops are bastards thing. Like, I can understand where they're coming from. Fuck 12. Fuck 911 and you. Yeah. So 11 plus 1 would, fuck the police and anybody that calls them, is what that's saying. And I can understand that sentiment in a lot of situations, because there's been a lot of bad like uses of the police and bad police themselves. And, but the biggest thing is you need somebody that's going to stop random violence or like unfiltered violence and stuff like that, right? That's what the police are there for. Like, you do basically want that. It's much in the same way as, like, you might say that you hate all these like drunkard, chain smoking idiot guys out there that never, these like fat, dumb, like, you might, like, women start saying stuff like that, they hate all men. People who are very wealthy or educated, they start to like not like a certain class of the populations, so like maybe truckers. That's what I'm thinking of right now. So I'm thinking about like truckers. So people hate on like the trucker type people, but then, hey, you need stuff to be moved, right? Like Trudeau with the trucker rally in Canada. You hate all these people. You try to like kind of criminalize them for being like weird, self-interested, a little bit paranoid, a little bit quirky, something that goes against the grain, but they are who they are. And ultimately, you don't want to be driving a truck, and you want the services of the person. So you kind of have to like respect these things, which aren't what you want, not what you like personally, but they serve a function, right? Um, and a lot of identity politics in the United States, it's really silly, it's really dumb. Um, some people, I was it Yuri, I think I always confuse this with some sort of comedian or something. Benzimov, or like Yuri, I like, it's not Eismanov. Eismanov. Every Russian sound, every Russian name sounds. He's that one in Bezmenov. Yes. That one Russian that gave interviews in English in like the 80s and started saying all these kind of things about like undermining United States unity through social division, because there's, so many people in the country from different backgrounds and with different beliefs and lifestyles. But that's what makes America work really well, and I think is the model of the future. Obviously, you have communities, different sub communities in your areas, so different people live radically different ways of lives, and you can kind of go and choose which part you want to be with. uh it's, I think that a lot of people don't like districting or um packing districts and stuff like this, and like trying to like get like-minded people into an area together. It's seen as this like profiling negative thing. But then you also see it emerge where there's areas where that just have like a reputation, like different groups of people naturally do want to stick together, like birds of a feather fly together kind of thing. So instead of fighting it so much and making it, it's one, you want everybody to have free transit through whatever region they want to go to, and to basically be able to go sit down and join in wherever they want to. But then at the same time, you want to have every group feel like they have an area they can go to and live a particular way that resonates with them as an individual. So, uh, you know, let that's just the essence of what we are. And we have to kind of absorb the social impact of all of these disparate groups. Anyways, it's a good thing to have that sort of setup. Otherwise, you just make everybody angry. Yeah. But you need some sort of governance. You need some sort of law and order. Obviously, the United States, they're way overspending on things. There's a lot of dysfunction and corruption. You'd almost do better to go live out of the country. But at the same time, there's a lot of good things about being here. Tax wise, community wise, I think about expatriations, like expatriates. I was thinking yesterday specifically about how many Americans must live outside of the country that you'll never come into contact with, where if you spoke to them, all of a sudden it'd be like, oh yeah, it does make. I was imagining like speaking to somebody from that kind of background, and you might imagine them say something to the effect of, well, most of the really like hyper intelligent Americans kind of left whenever they saw the trend of like random shootings and wage stagnation. And it's like, imagine you're a doctor in like 1990. It's like 95, you're a doctor, you can choose to work, like you're a young doctor, just got a couple years on the job, and you're looking at where to live. It would make sense in some people's social narratives to just like go to France or something like that, like go over to Europe, go work in Spain, get set up with a really nice accommodation on the basis of being an expat, and then get a more favorable tax circumstance in some way, and then you can just go visit the United States and see everybody you knew back there on occasion. I don't know. I have no clue. They are paying billions of dollars for wars right now. And if you look at Vietnam, it's hard to ever say there was like any purpose to it. Like, war is a pretty intense phenomenon. People being sent to die more or less knowingly. And the markets, like, ugh. It makes you sick, you know. The way that people can steal money like that, you know. There are people out there that probably stole, you know, what is now like market value, like $250,000 in one fell swoop from me, that are still, is like over $250,000, that are in no way held accountable, probably know exactly who I am. You know, the government was probably watching as it happened and like took a record. And they're like, write that down, write that down. You know what I mean? Like, the feeling that you have in this sort of situation is that ultimately the internet is terrible. And I'm sitting here with 0 views. Who is ever going to actually listen to me? Now am I going to break that mold? This is a really fucked up situation. It just is. Like, we're in the middle of our own war. Like, the United States, Europors are poor, yeah. And the United States is poor too. The problem with Bitcoin as well is that, like, we are at war. Like, I don't understand how nobody really speaks about it. It's I think for the intelligence services, they just sealed it off for themselves. They're like, all right, we're not going to talk about it in public, is kind of how I feel like they went about it. They just, it's how they, you know, send large sums of money under the books, off the books,
You know, John,
but on the
whenever
books at the same time, you know. There's ways of doing these kind of things.
have a gun anymore, but is still in the midst of a psychotic break, is going to grab this guy who doesn't really know what the heck to do.
I threw a frag grenade, we'd be out of cops at this point.
I'm somebody who should just be wealthy enough to like go online. I should have people talking in my chat right now and a huge backlog. So what this is creating a backlog of videos to establish character. Kind of like Wheezy Waiter is somebody I've been watching for a long time. I watched his original channel, and he started off as some guy in his 30s waiting tables, making like daily videos where he's just joking around. Ended up working with like PBS on some sort of documentaries. They were pretty good documentary series, and did some other things as well. Got married, had a kid, and now he's just randomly uploading these workout videos, which I've watched a good amount of some of them. I feel like he's not actually getting this many views. Like, there's no way there are this many people actually tuning in to watch this guy.
I don't feel like I need to pay that much attention to. Up next is...
It's like it's occurring to me just like how boring and throwaway these kind of videos are, right? You watch one, you watched them all, and that's kind of how it is with me as well. And I don't want it to be that way. You know, I want to have a stage presence and everything clicking. Yeah, I don't know. People in chat, at least like a chat bot. I think a chat bot is really the way of the future. You just get on camera, you get your microphone, you get a hyper intelligent, at least seeming LLM you have it take notes from everything that you said. In the future, I can just feed this into my LLM. And, the fear would be that somebody right now is basically already stealing this and throwing it into theirs, right? A lot of people are worried about stuff like that these days. Like the amount of paranoia that, imagine being some random 30-something-year-old drunkard type. Like, I don't drink, and I'm a very strange type of person. I just I'm like a wannabe YouTuber apparently here. I just want to have a normal family and a farm sort of situation, like a homestead, and do some sort of remote work with companies and travel a considerable amount. So, I could work with a company and, do, I don't know, depends. I could locate near to an office environment or not. It's all really up in the air. I know where I want to be ultimately is probably, by the age of 40, in a decade. I want to be, working from home the majority of the time, traveling for business, and have my whole homestead environment set up, which is totally an achievable objective. And I may hit it even faster than that, much faster than that. It could all happen in a matter of a month or so. A lot of people have huge windfalls all of a sudden, so I don't want to count myself out on that. Streaming is a congested category, but it's worth competing in because you show that you can always be online, always be speaking, always be present, and sane. A lot of these live streamers, they just do crazy things for views and notoriety. Here, my problem is I'm not even marketing myself. A lot of people, they stick with their friend groups and they keep on hitting them up and telling them what they're doing and trying to drive engagement that way. And then, that kicks off into getting discovered in the algorithm by random people. How much of other people's lifetimes should I really expect them to lend to me? I can totally understand that you just don't have time to sit around and talk to me. But the problem is somebody does. There is some subset of people who can drive tremendous value from a conversation with me, right? I can do interviews, and record interviews, have conversations, and upload them. I don't know anybody that I could do that with. If I could go back in time, I probably would have started doing that as turning 20 years old. That would be a proper thing to do. But I can't go back in time and do that. In the future, I could do that now. Maybe I don't give myself enough credit for how much I've advanced as an individual. It maybe would not have been that good back then. I've developed a lot of industry knowledge and stage presence and things like that. So whatever. Right now, I'm just bored out of my mind because nobody's showing up to my streams. I'm not really marketing them, so that's understandable. It's on me, I suppose, to market them. But what actually works to market a stream like that, right? What can you actually do to market any kind of stream? Nobody really wants to watch this stuff. That's just the truth of it. Everybody is busy today doing other stuff. They don't have the time to sit around and watch random things like this. I very much question YouTube. I think that they artificially select some people and increase their views because they don't want anybody to feel like YouTube is a dead platform or a dying platform, and audiences are conditioned to believe a certain way about what the things that they're watching. I would pass laws if I could, if I were emperor here. I would say okay, guys, like, we really need to know, like, the breakdown. Like, everybody really needs to know to be able to get an accurate image of the world. How many people are actually watching what and for how long. And, simply putting like 4.8K views without some sort of breakdown is not enough. Like, yeah, I think it would destroy a lot of people's egos, challenge a lot of people's like assumptions and stuff. Like, I bet you that 4.8K views really means like maybe like 200, 300 people clicked on it for like a few seconds, watched a little bit of it, maybe like a couple dozen watched the entire thing. And who are they even? What does it even matter? Did it change their life in any way? Was it, was anything really seriously communicated that was of high importance? Yeah, like Versurex, that's another exchange that went down that was really rather large and early. There's no shortage, like MintPal, CoinPal, like whatever. Liberty Reserve dollars. That whole thing was also a beginning aspect of Bitcoin. People might want to push it up forever, but I think that there is a considerable group of people who will just say we don't want to participate in this because it's a Ponzi scheme. And I think that's approximately correct. It's like you guys got in earlier and now you have a very good situation because you got in early, and you're expecting me to pay you out. Like, you want to sell your coin at a high price and you want me to buy it at a high price, whereas you bought your coin at a low price. And but the way it works is, for the most part, nobody is really holding their coins from times when prices were low anymore, for the most part, unless they're like they hold quite a large amount and they're very like conservative. People are trading more or less the same coins in circulation over and over and over again, without ever actually making on, they do like off-chain representational, like, oh yeah, we totally have like a bunch of Bitcoin over here, and if you like make that trade, we'll totally send you some. But like you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, the arbitrage between exchanges, they do all sorts of sketchy stuff. It's like, oh no, we totally have funds to cover. No, we got plenty of Bitcoin. My best friend told me he has a bunch of them, and he'll totally bail us out if we do this risky thing right here. No, we're covered. Pinky promise. And then they break that promise, of course. So I really just need something to occupy my time. Like, I don't know what to do. It's been about an hour on the stream now, and with no communication to me explicitly communicating outward, and just leaving this time capsule here. Yeah, it's pretty difficult to conceive of where I'm going to make all this money to pay for my homestead. I know that it's possible, if not probable, as long as I just like find something. I'm trying to find a good job which makes use of my skills of knowing all of this random industry world type stuff. Let's look at Blake.
And one of the funniest things here at the ranch is I have a lot of mixed animals and different things.
That's
like right here, we have a turkey. All right, you're smart.
Yeah, I kind of want to be like Blake, but with less animals, less types of animals, but still, and a lot more soccer. A lot more of me playing soccer, kicking around a soccer ball in the backyard at least. I think that I struggle with what to say because I don't play soccer, as in I'm not on like a team, and I don't really want to be on a team. I'd play a couple games of like pickup soccer or whatever, but I don't have a huge interest in being like a league player or anything like that, or joining like an adult soccer team or something that plays on the weekends. I don't know. It could be fun, but for me, like soccer golf would probably be the most fun thing. Kicking the ball really just dribbling around across the field, kicking the ball long distances towards a goal like that sounds really fun. I've never played soccer golf, but I want to. Soccer itself, it's interesting, but comparatively boring because you're not going to be handling the ball as often. Like, you're not going to be dribbling the ball all the time, like if you go practice soccer. So I would rather be just taking random shots on goal and dribbling up and down the field than playing a full game of soccer. Anyways.
So right here, we have some beautiful red saddle pigeons inside of your lungs, and we wouldn't want that for Cash. But look at that. Cash is a little scared of mowers. I would be too. He's a big boy, or she's a big boy. But yeah, Benny is not the nicest with other baby animals like goats and stuff. But as you see, he loves humans. He loves to just hang out and do his thing. He's very, very protective of us, the humans, and that's always good. You see all the emus and everyone's just doing their thing.
All right, Cash, let's go find the other babies.
So that's what's up.
Those little guys are. It looks like we have 2 snowies and 3 whites. Snowies are what the mother is. They're that kind of like creamish white speckles on it. And then whites obviously would be pure white. But the 2 right there in the front look like snowies. They're into mama's territory. Creators, other influencers, and we're going to have a bunch of awesome, fun times. I'll see you guys later. Go like this. Peace out. Say bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I can do about any type of work, and that is a good thing, I suppose, but like also, possibilities. Some people benefit from having like limited options, like limited options is sometimes a good thing because you just take what you just take what you have available to you and you don't think about it. But whenever you have a ton of options, you sit there and you're just like constantly like, there's got to be something better, or you have regret about which one you choose whenever you take your choice. I don't know. List view. This is the way it used to be, isn't it? It's been a while since where is it? It used to be similar to this. I don't know that they would show the channel like that. Found that guy through Frauded or Troll. He's kind of silly and funny. Like, for him, like, you really think 4.9 thousand people watching that guy with his court case, where he's just like some random troll that goes out and confronts people with a camera. There's so many people out there who get paid tons of money to just like live their life doing whatever it is, thinking about like artists and when I say artists, I mean like musical artists. I don't know. It's like why can't I be one of those people? Just lay the money on me and then I'll go start homesteading and I'll have positive output from that endeavor. We can really dig deep and try to find the stuff that resonates. I mean, they're wasting billions of dollars every day on the defense industry. I need more channels to subscribe to. There's tons of other channels that I don't subscribe to that I used to watch and things like that. I want to go find more people. I feel too baked in on this set of YouTube subscriptions. Like there's just too much or too little. There's not much that I'm actually interested in any of this. Even better would be doing my own thing, right? I want to make my own videos. What I'm doing right now is way more fun and interesting than watching any of this stuff. The only problem is I'm not getting view botted or actual legitimate views. So let's check out Twitch here for a second. Mega 64 is my autocomplete. See, Meat Canyon with the 444 viewers doing art here. Would you call it art though? I'll be real. He draws some pretty disturbing stuff. Does art have to be beautiful? I don't know. See, for him to just like sit around and draw art is no big deal because he doesn't need to go get money. He doesn't need to like, this does bring him money indirectly, right? And ideally, you get into a situation where you just don't think about money. That's how I feel about things. It's like you just have money, it's there. You don't really need to go work for money. You probably do earn money with what you do. Like your natural life situation would just lend you towards doing things that are productive. I mean, in entertainment, you're not about being productive, really. You're about being entertaining, which is similar but different. It's not really technically productive. I suppose here it is. Like it's like working on a stand-up comedy routine. Is that productive? You could say that, but I mean, really, in the truest sense of the word. Yeah, this is an example. How much of this is it worth? Like, if you need to like climb socially, like if you need to make money, if you need to do certain things in your life, are you going to spend your time learning the complicated mechanics of Yu-Gi-Oh? As they release all these cards like faster than you can learn them. Are you going to waste your limited amount of money on these random cards just because you played this game as a child or something like that, right? And why, like, At what point should you like grow out of the hobby or give up on the hobby because it's like too much of an investment that they're asking from you? And like, can you even, because once you know how to play, you just kind of know, and you're like, have the curse of knowledge of knowing how to play that game, but maybe not the best. I don't even know. Like, I don't know what these cards he's using do. I know Nightmare Phoenix. I know Called by the Grave. I know IP Masquerena. Jet Synchron. Like, it's a game that you have to like read a bunch when you play it. In person, you kind of have your opponent to explain it to you. It's not ever supposed to be a game that you know like every card in. I don't know. We could legit spend tens of thousands of dollars on this game. I'd say like you can buy more or less everything you need. There's a difference between just like, why is he so low on time? Master Duel is a really bad offering of the
I'm not
game.
doing some stuff because of, oh, thank God. Oh.
I don't like that it doesn't have best of 3 because you really need side decking. Without best of 3, this game is kind of a joke. It's really easy to luck sack. You need the 3 to like make it an actual competitive game. Anyways, for every other reason I mentioned about card scarcity and availability and pricing, it's already a joke anyways. League of Legends, you know, like I know how to play it. I played quite a few games. Like I used to play it quite a lot whenever it was more popular. And I go back to it occasionally and play a few games. It's a good game, but it's just like too involved. It's too complicated. It takes too long to build stuff up. And if you don't know what you're doing, like even if you do, like, it looks like he's might die to this. I think he's gonna get out. But yeah. Wow. Okay, I'm not gonna sit around and watch Twitch all day. Only Retro Game Center. Only Game Center at CX.
The balls and the texturing, the refraction and the fractals, and that excellent sequence when the water drained out of the pond at the end. Marvellous.
Absolutely marvellous.
Yeah.
In fact, things that one very rarely, or if ever, saw a few years ago.
We couldn't have done it. No.
Well, it's fairly obvious that computer animation has come on a long way in the last few years. There's been a revolution in hardware with specially designed 32-bit machines, and there's been a revolution in software as more people come in to work on the problems. And this is an area that's no longer confined to the technical experts. Creative people, graphic designers are moving in, and computer animation companies are springing up everywhere. But of course, the name Virgin isn't exactly new. It's on high street record stores across the country.
So I'm kind of jealous of these people. Like, honestly, it would be much more fun to have like a lower barrier to entry. You just like walk in and say like, oh yeah, I love computers, you know? And then they're like, well, I like your attitude, kid. You like computers? you'll get along just fine here. That's about all you had to say back then, right? Like, the level of complication that's been introduced. And but the truth is, you'd much rather be you'd much rather be coming of age in this time period. You'd much rather be alive now. Things are much more. You miss the opportunity of time that this represents, but you still have that opportunity of time that this represents into what will be the future from this point forward. Right. And that's why I'm acting now by recording this. This will serve as a time capsule. And just consistently do this. And I have to find some sort of community to hawk my stream in. Just get a few clicks. This is less about making a career of it and more about getting a life. It is a career, though. I mean, like, I don't know how to say. I don't necessarily want to derive money from having a very large online influence from streaming. Does that make sense? I want to stream for the sake of the activity itself and meeting people and finding an audience. That doesn't necessarily mean the same thing as being one of these people that no matter when you go live, you have all these kids come watch you play a video game or whatever else. I want to be involved in negotiating projects of various types, you know. I want to be like an executive director, producer type, like money man sitting there with the group that's like talking about various aspects of things and whether or not you should sign off on doing them, and having plenty of money to, you know, have a relevant voice. I don't know. It's too generic, maybe. It's another 30 minutes gone by.
That they could produce exciting new images by developing their own in-house software. But above all, they are still graphic artists, using the new technology to produce a new art style. That film, we asked Virgin Graphics if they would.
Yeah, the most, like, the most intelligent or technically sophisticated, you know, is it even really, like, it's a form of intelligence, but it's not the only form of intelligence, you know. But these unique types of intelligences end up creating like the benchmark for everybody. And it's kind of frustrating, you know. You go online and you see all these people that have these incredible projects, and you want to be somebody that can do something similar. But the truth is they're just too good. They're an anomaly. They're an outlier, and they are the best at what they do. So in that instance, that guy was really good at 3D modeling in a time whenever it was a much less established industry and skill. But these days, he may not have even made the transition to being a relevant sculptor or modeler in 3D environments, right? Like, his work today may not be as good as those using certain tools. Like, ideally, I suppose you'd be a really good artist that also uses AI tools. You'd save so much time. You'd get a lot done if you were already a really good artist. I don't know. I'm freaking done with Twitch here. Let's get off of this thing. Nothing happens on here. Trump versus Biden.
I love grabbing things with my tiny hands. But hey, since you're so curious about the nether regions, why don't you take a trip down memory lane and reminisce about your own fascination with Twilight fan fiction/fiction? Yeah,
It's hilarious. They just have it going 24/7. Wow, the people outside cutting the lawn are really annoying me with the noise interference. Kingdom Hearts movie. Probably because I'm such a ridiculous Kingdom Hearts fan all of a sudden. It's like, wow, this guy. I'm also not really.
What's going on,
I am,
turkeys? Welcome back to the idea.
The only thing only thing in the future I'm excited for is Kingdom Hearts 4.
Something on Disney Plus. More recently, I've heard the goal would be big screen adaptation, but as of now, these are just rumblings and nothing has been greenlit. It's going to focus specifically on visual adaptation. It must mean that at some point over the past 5 or 6 years, there has been something going on at Disney with talks of making a Kingdom Hearts visual adaptation. Now, there are a few characters are a part of CG animated, in the sense of, now, Tarzan, of course, it is...
Okay. None of this is relevant.
One of his arms, and that...
Ooh. He is huge. So you know. I look like I'm like 50 pounds heavier than I am. I have nothing to say. I just love this song. I want to just like disappear into this song, you know. It's the perfect background music. Just looking at myself here. This is real life right now. Oh my gosh. People talk about ego death, and like I was reading from I was reading a Twitch chat last night. There's this one really good leak coder, this guy called Chi Impact, and he plays like Genshin Impact, which I don't really like, and he leak codes, but he's so good at leak code. He works at Google, I'm pretty sure. And he had a stream that was like, I'll fix your life problems. I went in there and I was like, in the chat, I didn't say anything. I'm beyond this guy being able to help me, right? But somebody mentioned something about streaming to nobody, streaming to an audience of nobody, and how that could cause ego death. And it's like, well, here I am, man, like 0 views, 0 chats, 0 concurrent viewers. I more or less just like destroyed all my social circles from high school and college and stuff. They don't exist. Like I didn't plan that out really well. And there's never really much there because there were so few people at my high school. And I was all serious through college about learning, and trying to separate myself from the pack, but I guess I separated myself too much. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Just keep on applying to random jobs, but not random jobs, but also, yeah, random jobs. Let's be real. I can target any skill set and perform at any place. I wish that I could just do anything to end this awkward period. Just have like a resolution. I'll be living a completely different life. Couple $1 million, and we're golden. Like I don't know why it's so difficult to like find wealthy people that work with others. You know, I don't know. I don't know what to say. My view of humanity is very jaded and negative at this point in time, and I really want to save that. I don't want to be this way. I don't want to be this person who has a mostly negative opinion of humanity and is mostly pessimistic.
I need at least 1 box of red wine and some popcorn first.
I'll get you some, James.
Safe for work AI girlfriend ads are showing up on Facebook and Instagram despite Meta's own ad policies. An investigation by Wired found that at least 29,000 Facebook telling me has had to pull.
See, that's some weird garbage. There's no replacing a human being with like an AI. Yeah, forget that. And it detracts from the legitimate uses of AI as a like assistant. That's what I don't like about it. I think that it's a really relevant tool, and it's going to be made into this kind of gimmicky, stupid thing to try to scam weird loners. It's like, I'm a weird loner, but I'm not that type of weird loner, guys. Just like, you know, so you know, no interest in an AI girlfriend over here. Zero, zilch, nada. Maybe an interest in a mustache trim and a shower to get my hair not be so fucked. Interest in a walk outside and a job and a conversation. Why is it so difficult to just talk to people online? Like, what do I need to do to come in contact with like people who, to establish meaningful connections or come into contact with people who will matter years down the line? You know what I mean? That's what I really wish I had, is just like enduring connections to people. I don't have those. I just wound up in this situation. I don't know what to do about it, really. Getting a job and like moving somewhere and just trying another city, and things will fall together, but I do have to be intentional about it at the same time. Yeah, this is no bueno. I mean, like, what job would you say to somebody like me, just go apply to it right now? Like, go apply to this job, you'll probably get it, and good work will be done there. There's really no recommendation that anybody could make. There's no perfect job for like anybody. Everybody is working some sort of thing where they're just making the best of it for the most part. People start their own business schemes and go crazy trying to like chase money. I'm just trying to look after my health and be forthright with presenting who I am as a person and what I want to do and why I want to do it, which is start a homestead to enjoy my life, you know, start a family, like go meet people, make friends, doing random stuff, play games, exercise. I don't know. There's not much else to life. A lot of people don't take the time to choose what they want from it. They just fall through life. I'm thinking about a trucker friend. A friend that I used to know in high school. I suppose you could call him a friend. An acquaintance. I knew him. And he was on my football team till he injured his leg. And now he's a trucker. And he got very fat. Just being real. He got very fat after he injured his leg. And he he's just this like trucker dude now, which is great. But what am I gonna do? Like, what? You know, in some ways I'm jealous of that, because he just is who he is unapologetically, and there's like one solution. It's like he's thinking about like football and stuff like that, and sports and drinking beer, and like you know what I mean? Like he doesn't have all these strange considerations to make about industry from watching all of this random infotainment that I've watched. Caught a grackle. But if I make a considerable sum of money, find a group that I can actually engage with on a daily basis and have it be not weird, have it actually be productive. I think I would work really well as a manager. That's why I want to work in like I'm thinking HR or like management of something, like a team manager, team lead, product designer. I could also do like social influence type stuff. Like I saw one job listing that was basically being a policy lobbyist, which I think would be pretty fun and right up my alley. I just want to talk to people about technical issues, like the technical political issues, but you have to like get to know me. Like the interview process for these types of jobs and my immediate need for money, all this combined just creates one generally negative feeling where it's just like, please, for the love of God, do something to help me out, because there's nothing I can really do to fix my situation. You know what I mean? I can go and apply to jobs. I can go and like do whatever I can with what I have. But at the end of the day, it takes other people being amenable to me and like reaching out and giving me the interview and putting me in the group in whatever way. Like, it just makes my head race, the concept of everybody being alive at once and, you know, needing to find some sort of in somewhere. It just all seems like life is a blur, you know, and it's just like too happening too fast. It just kind of swirls around you as you just don't know where to get in edgewise. Like I have so much capacity to contribute in so many different ways, that it is like being over encumbered in a game or something, right? Like Fallout's really popular right now. If you pick up too much stuff, you'll be over encumbered and you can't run. It's probably the reason we never moved out of this house. It's like that bookcase right there. I don't know how the hell that got upstairs. It's pretty heavy and handmade by my dad. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff, and moving is a bitch if you've never done it. I've been in and out of apartments, and I'm kind of tired of that. I just want to get my own like final, like, this is my house. I own this. This is my land. I have enough money to take trips and stuff. That's where I want to be. And nobody else like gives a fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, go tell it to somebody who fucking cares. And the truth is that nobody really does. So you have to like force people to care, you know? Like, you can't really force anybody to care about anything. It's the nature of care. They either do or they don't. I don't know, dude. I like Chris Chappell in general.
Pro-Palestinian protests are spreading.
I'm not even showing that screen right now. I'm showing this one. I like Chris Chappell in general, but I'm also kind of tired of
Semitic. The dismantling of the youth forward to keep making the show without your support. On the crowdfunding website.
Like 3 minutes ago, and he has 229 views. Does he really? You know, I doubt that sincerely. Those are bots or something else. Which, if that's what goes on, if that's how it works, then like good, bot me up. Send me my bots. I won't talk about it again. Like, it's one of those things where you're not allowed to say anything, but it is the way it is. Like, I don't know. A lot of people probably respond immediately whenever they see something in their subscription box.
This video is sponsored by.
There's millions of people that just sit around online all day, every day, when they have some sort of task to do in another window that grants them money. You know, like you work from home, but you just watch YouTube and do random stuff on the side. You know, say you work anywhere where you do something physical, you could also be listening to something sitting at a lobby counter. I don't know. Yeah, it's really dark. So it's just really, really dark how we have constructed this fake information network thing where everything is not quite what it seems.
Huge jabby claws, and they walk sideways. Like, who walks sideways? They're just all types of wrong. No, if it's all crabs now, I'm done with this game, seriously.
Okay, well, I did foresee this eventuality, which is why I pulled some strings and got a special tally filter put in the game too. What do you think?
I think this is the best expansion ever, and it's time to play some Alpha!
Knowledge is power.
Hello, Internet. Taliesin here, and welcome to another episode of the week.
Okay. I don't know.
Reset. Over in just a week on the 7th of May for N.
I like Taliesin and Evitel, but I don't have the attention to watch this stuff like every time they release a video. You know what I mean?
And the 8th for EU. Dark Heart patch 10. Release date are marked, and you can
Breezy too with
Goblin Raid, which, seeing as we are underground and everything, definitely looks like we are heading to the Undermine in the first major patch of this expansion. Although I've still.
That sounds really cool. That sounds exciting. I think that the Motherlode dungeon in Battle for Azeroth was pretty good. Mechagon is kind of like, you know, it's the gnome version, you know, so it's like the goblin version of Mechagon. That sounds like a really fun time. Mechagon was one of the best patches the game has ever seen. So is the Eternal Palace.
I've got my Hopium hopes very much on the Airship 11.1 in the, you know, it's a big cave with a roof. You really, or like community online, mining Naru, crystal in the ceiling, tantalizingly visible, and the airships.
But yeah, if I'm a manager, right, I'm really good at just like arriving on time. If like I have a meeting, like I'm gonna show up. Like, that's one thing about me. I will definitely freaking be there, and I'll be on time. So if I were a manager and I worked from home, that would be like really incredible. Where like I could also move and then work in person. Hopefully get like at least like a hybrid situation. I'm very defensive of my time, but also it depends on the situation where I'm working. I'm prepared for the worst. I want the best, but I'm prepared for the worst. You know what I mean? With the worst is just really not great to think about. Like, you know, but if I'm a manager, then my days would be like creating schedules for down the line. So, you know, preparing things in advance on a calendar, like maybe doing like meetings for project deliverables and like talking to the team members about like where they are and what they've done. I feel like that would be really good for me specifically. Like I would be really good at an organizational role where I can just be free to like ask everybody what they're doing, how they're doing on it, like how the project is progressing. And just in general discern relevant information from that. Like actually, like I would actually be able to make a connection with each individual person, interpret and understand whatever it is that they're working on. Say it's like a code base and you have, a team of several software engineers. You just hop in like a call with them occasionally and speak to them about what's going on. And then you're just very honest and direct about like the quality of what's occurring and whether or not solutions are being found for the problems that need to be fixed, and whether or not implementations will work at scale. It's the kind of thing where I would need other people working in collaboration with me no matter what it is. I just hate thinking in terms of general terms like these. It is all specific to the employer and the team and the project and all this other stuff. There's no amount of useful things which can really be said about work without that specific detail of like, what is the job? What is the company? What is the team? Who are the team members? And I just need money. I just need money. If I could get money from doing this, I'd do this. All right, I got to get off of here, though, because this is just toxic. I think I'm going to go make coffee. And, yeah. I think I'm going to go make coffee. I'll probably have a shower at some point and go outside and exercise. I just wanted to go online, stream. We've done that. It's been an hour and 40 minutes. Wish I had more to say. I wish I were more entertaining. Here I am. I am an intelligent person who knows a lot about the world and about business and can work in basically any environment. I have a very clear goal for what I want to be in the future, which is homesteading, working remotely with some sort of organizational capacity to my job title. So like I want to be not just another person at a company, but somebody who really like gets a sense of community, like knowing a couple hundred people is something which is totally doable for me. My dad is a psychiatrist, so he's talked to thousands of people over his career, and I'm sort of similar in that way that I can talk to a bunch of people and retain the information, but I want to approach it differently, obviously. It's like, this is me right here.
Young people.
This is basically me. Like, I am this thumbnail. That's how I feel. That is exactly how I feel right now. So that thumbnail is, again, not on the computer screen. What was it? Right here. That lying flat thumbnail. That is how I feel. Just disappearing into my chair in this room with 0 concurrent viewers, 0 chat rate, basically 0 response from employers. It's like being unpersoned. It's awful. And if this is how bad of an experience somebody can have being somebody from my background with like my education and like having an actual decent work experience, and being this presentable on camera, although extremely boring on camera because there's nobody here to talk to, right? Imagine how bad it is for other people. Like, you see these people that go crazy and start shooting and like doing all sorts of stuff, and it's like, well, understandable, because the world is awful. You know what I mean? It's really bad. Like, you want to do something, you need to do something, you're trying to do it, but then even like through these weird systems that other people have created, you are disadvantaged. It's like, you know how I mean? What is one really supposed to do? What can one really do? I don't have like commit authority to like change Workday, for instance. You know, like I would make a few changes to Workday. I'd make a few changes to YouTube. You know, I'd make a few changes to Blizzard. I would work for these companies if they would have me and pay me good enough and give me an offering. I don't know how to navigate those sort of conversations. Absolutely no clue. I don't know. It'd be pretty fun to work for Blizzard. But at the same time, I'm not like this automaton that can just do whatever you tell me to do. Feels like if you want to work in a technical role, they want to leak code you. And I'll be honest, I'm just not somebody who's up to performing leak codes. Like, I understand how code works and functions, and I can learn effectively what is relevant to a role. And but solving these riddles and dedicating my time to learning to solve these riddles, which is what leak code really is, it does concern me. You know, I just feel like I can't get like a fair shake at breaking into any of these industries, because the human technical systems which they've implemented are flawed. Like, they're just clunky, awkward things which serve to dehumanize the applicant. You know, it dehumanizes the outsider. It even dehumanizes the people interior to the organization a lot of the times. And there's not much you can do about it because everybody needs money. That's unfortunate. I want to live a life full of meaning, just like good times, great people, better ingredients. What is it? Better ingredients, better people. Is what is it? Like, better ingredients, better. I don't know. Throw in some Papa John's racist taglines in that. It's like, better ingredients, better people. You know the ones. Papa John's. I can't believe that happened to the guy's company. It's like so strange that you can have a company named Papa John, a literal man who is the Papa John, and then yeah, you're like, nah, he's a racist. We don't like him anymore. We're just keeping the name. I don't know. It's very strange, the situation. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Approximately nothing. So my what I have to say is, I feel really bored. I feel cramped up. I feel slightly disappointed, more than slightly disappointed, in humanity in general. Maybe a little bit something else. just kind of aghast at how ineffective everything is. How can somebody who's just like, I'm ready to work, I'm ready to do whatever, like I need money, like how can you have that be the thing that you're saying and then that basically doesn't really mean anything? You know what I mean? Like the alternative is die. The alternative is literally just like, oh, I don't know, I don't care, just go lay down in the gutter. Oh, you're like sending in your resume. Well, Lamal, who cares? Like, I want to be in charge of like hiring. I want to be in with big money people because like we have to have better systems than we have. Like, this is a failure of utilizing human capital. Like, first off, right? How are you going to like spy on people and steal their information and then not really do anything to help them? That doesn't really sit right with me. I feel like intelligence services, if they want to spy on their citizens, then they have some sort of obligation to not just do no harm, but to actively intervene for the better. And I don't feel like that is in any way reflective in the way in which they behave. It's a world where people are constantly feigning friendliness and then truly they're just like resource driven, and they found out that you get more resources by feigning friendliness, right? They're actually viciously competitive and antagonistic to other people's success because that's what advances them. Looking at this here, BlizzCon just never really appealed to me for the most part. It was cool, I suppose, like it would have been cool to go to, but I can understand why they end it. Why they would end it 100%. I understand why they end it. That's correct grammar, right? Our hope is that these experiences, alongside several live-streamed industry events where we'll keep you up to date with what's happening in our game universes, will capture the essence of what makes the Blizzard community so special. No matter how you choose to connect with us at these events this year, whether it be in person or virtually, we can't wait to see you there. So they're just doing like DreamHack events instead of BlizzCon. All right, awesome. I don't really care. See, I don't want to be rude and I don't want to be like dismissive, but it's like, this is one of those things where it's like, I heard it in the first minute and it's done. I'm sure they have other stuff planned for the show, but I don't have that much attention for World of Warcraft specific, like 2-hour live stream on just like the news of WoW. I don't know. Whatever, guys, I'm done. This is it. This is what you have wrought. This is what you have done here. Look at poor me sitting here, totally without any sort of communication. Sucks. You'd be doing literally fucking anything right now if I had just the money to do it, right? Like, I have the like wherewithal to actually like get up and go. So not having the money is just like offensive. This is America. We're supposed to love giving everybody tons of money, including the really stupid people. So where the fuck is my money? You know? It's just like, holy damn. Cash me outside. How about that? Am I rich now? Is that all you have to do? Is that like the secret word? Or am I rich now? Am I rich?